Well, hello. We are live on, where are we? We're on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook simultaneously. Hello to you. And Vicky J is in the room. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So glad that we finally found the time to do this.
I know it's been crazy, hasn't it? I want to wish you a happy summertime as well. It is summer in the UK. Our clock's changed, as you well know. You get slightly better weather where you are anyway, don't you? You
A
know,
little, yeah.
marginally better. Yeah. So welcome. We are today talking about turning social media into revenue and marketing in a digital world. And I'm no expert on this topic, but you know what? As a business owner, I have to learn my stuff on this and be good at marketing. And I use some great people in the world to help me with that. And Vicky J, you are one of those people. You've taught me so much.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be part of your journey, AD.
Absolutely. And part of other people's journey as well, because one of the number one challenges of people working with me to build online courses, communities, sell their knowledge online is you can build some great stuff, but how do you go about selling it and marketing it? How do you stand out in a crowded market? It's no point building a course that doesn't sell. So we're going to help with some of that stuff today, conscious of everybody's time as well. So if you're watching this live or on a recording, maybe you can't hang around for the full thing, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of some stuff that we're going to be talking about later. So firstly, you can get in touch with Vicky J by scanning this QR code or visiting the link that you can see on the screen. And Vicky's got loads of stuff, loads of resources to help you be better at turning your social media content into revenue and into paying customers. So you can visit that now if you want to. And please do ask any questions throughout, whether you're watching this live or on the recording. On LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you are, please put your comments on the live or the recording, and I'll certainly keep my eye on those whenever they come in. And also to work with me as well, I help to turn your knowledge into revenue. So Vicky J is very good at getting kind of people and eyeballs in your direction, and when those eyeballs come in your direction, I'm good at helping you to turn your knowledge into revenue, helping you to build online courses, communities, downloadable resources, events, and that sort of thing that people can purchase from you. So some free training available on that QR code there, and the links on the screen as well. But let's get into it, Vicky. Personal branding is kind of a thing you've taught me a lot about. So what does personal branding mean to you, and what inspired you to focus on that in the first place?
Great question to kick this off. So, personal branding, there has been so many definitions. I actually have done my dissertation on personal branding, and the definitions are huge, but I like to explain it as a reputation that you intentionally manage. So rather than just leaving it on someone else to decide what they think about you, you kind of hint them into the right direction and help them guide you and kind of guide them so they kind of ultimately see you as you want to be perceived. So that's how I describe that.
Good. And in why is that important? Because I speak to a lot of people that maybe focus on a different brand, maybe a company, and they worry about having a website and a profile and a logo and a name and a this, that, and the other, which is a good thing to work towards. But personal brand seems to be where it's all at. Would you say?
100%. So, and there are a few reasons for that. So, first thing is the data reason. So, data doesn't lie, and according to data, if I remember the number correctly, a personal brand is 463 more in percent. So, 463% more engagement than a company brand, right? And why is that? First of all, we are people. We seek connections. It's a natural thing to us. So we are looking to connect with a person. If you see a logo, it doesn't tell you anything. If you see a person who explains, say something, and does something with their hands, and you're like, oh, I do that thing with my hands too. Whenever I explain myself, there's a connection formed, right? So that's the biggest reason we are looking for the connection. But also, we're more likely to trust when it's a person. We create our own perception of how we see the person. And then it comes down to the three-factor: know, like, and trust, right? So that I would say Main reason is the connection. Whereas with company brand, it's still great to have that, but if you can focus on positioning yourself as the face of the brand and then let the brand come along with you for the ride, you have
Yeah,
a lot more opportunities waiting for you.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that's come through in the work that I do. I have, you know, a social media presence. You've helped me to develop that, and you're right. The data doesn't lie, does it? The numbers that I'm now seeing as a result of putting into practice what you've helped me with is just off the scale. And we should clip that and give that as a testimony, because literally, you know, the work that you've done it's changed my life. It's changed my business. It's just been really good, and the numbers are there to back that up. And I have that social media presence now. My personal brand is there. It's growing, and alongside that, I'm an online course expert. So I've got some free courses that are out there, you know, with my face and my video and my knowledge and that sort of stuff. And when people come into a sales call or a discovery call with me, they're saying, "Oh, it's great to meet you in real life. I feel like I know you already."
Yep.
And it's that that's probably got them to connect and trust me enough to have that conversation and spend that time with me, right?
Yeah. And if I can jump into what you just said there, that's the key with personal branding, right? So if you can meet a person offline and you get a comment, oh my God, I feel like I know you already. You're exactly like I've imagined you, thanks to your post, thanks to the brand that you created. That's like you can tick off a box. You have a huge win right there.
Yes, that's it. And a lot of people, and I relate to this, get anxious about putting themselves in the social media spotlight. They don't want to come across as a diva or a limelight hogger. You know, they're worried about, have I got anything of value to add, and that sort of stuff. I remember that stuff, right? And that has left me. I actually enjoy marketing now
Yeah.
because you've kind of helped me with that. But thinking back, I can't remember even how you got me over that hump. What did you do?
So usually I explain personal branding like for clients or like for people who are like, oh, I'm afraid to put myself out there. Think of it in a way that you are putting yourself out there for them. It's not about you. It's never about you. So even though you feel like, oh, I'm becoming the center of attention, it's not for you. You are the center of attention, so someone else can learn from you. Someone else can get value from you. So every time you're like, oh, should I post that video or should I put that content out there? You're not doing that for you. You're doing it for them. And that's the biggest mindset shift and the best way I can explain that.
Yeah, yeah, it's really that. I love this comment from Con here. Con's on LinkedIn. He's in Australia. Good. What are we? Good evening. Good evening, Con. I think I've got that right. Social media takes the first meeting from a handshake to a hug.
Exactly. I love that. I love that. Yeah, exactly. Because people feel like, oh my God, I know you already. We've never met. I would be probably a bit like, whoopa, what's going on? But that's always so nice to hear, like, and it's spot on.
Yeah, I think so too. Quick question that often comes up from my clients: what platform should they use? Should they like blast themselves over a load of platforms? What do you think?
So, another great question. And the answer is the most hateful answer, or like most people hate this answer. And that is it depends. I would first look at where do your clients hang out? Where do your potential clients, your prospect hang out? If they spend most of their time on Facebook, well, there's no point for you using Instagram if they're just not going to open it. If you have usually, especially, usually this is in B2B audience, LinkedIn is a great place, right? Maybe you have B2C business and therefore Instagram is best because you can showcase your product, right? Rather than service. So I would look at that first, and then kind of there's like a second part of the question. And my recommendation is try and not start and try and not go into all different platforms at the same time. Choose one, work on one, and then diversify. So, for example, I had LinkedIn for more than 3 years before I even opened my Instagram account. I had LinkedIn for 2 years before I even had a website, right? Or even like a landing page. So really choose one, hone on that one, get to know your audience, create a community before you diversify.
Of course, yeah. And a question that came up on Facebook, and apologies, I can't remember who this was from. How often should you post?
Another time, it depends. Start with something that you can keep up with. What I mean by that, if you start with one post a week at the complete beginning, just because you need to get a muscle of consistency and a habit, start with that. One post per week. Don't push it more. If you can then add a second post, go in. If you already know that you have some time and you have the time in your calendar and you're great at like just batching the content, go for 3 posts, go for 5 posts, right? And the frequency very much depends on the platform. It depends on your goals as well, and the speed of your growth that you want, all of the things. But as like a general rule, I would go for 3 posts per week minimum, regardless of the platform.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. I'd try and aim for kind of, well, I like posting every day, to be honest. And even on the Saturdays and Sundays, I've got this routine on a Saturday where I like to just grab a drink first thing before everybody else is up. I like to chill out. I like to write a piece of content there and then. I like to post it and then engage with some people. It's lovely. There's apologies, I don't know this person's name. A LinkedIn user is talking here about just seeking the way how to get direct clients. And actually, there's some bits of what you've said that answers that. You've talked about choosing the platform where your people hang out. So a lot of this is really understanding who you're serving, isn't it? Getting clear on who you're there for and what problems you fix and where those people hang out, so that you can be in those spaces to help them with your content, because content isn't just to sell, is it? It's, it's all that trust building stuff that you said, and helping people with the micro problems so that hopefully they want to work with you on the bigger stuff.
I like how we went there straight into the juicy part.
Yeah.
But as you said, there is I would say it's a bit more. In one way, it's very easy. In one way, it's a bit more complex, right?
Yeah.
So you want to know who your target audience is, who you're trying to attract, where they hang out. You really want to understand them in order to create content that attracts them. You want to then have a process how you're going to capture these conversations and go deeper on them, a way that you're going to get them onto a call or into a funnel, or any way that you will want to sell to them, right? So it's easy in one way. If we were to say get to know who your people are and talk to them, in the more complex ways, there's a lot more behind.
Yeah.
And I think that would be like a big LinkedIn Live, another session on its own. That would probably need to be at least 1 hour if you wanted to go into the nitty gritty and talk about everything included, what's included in clients and lead generation and sales and all of that. There is a lot to cover.
Yeah. Well, it's not to be covered in an hour, is it? And you know what? And I say this often. When I get to work with experts like you, I get results quicker.
Yeah.
I haven't got all of the time in the world to learn all this stuff and to plow into, YouTube tutorials or articles, blogs. We haven't got that sort of time. And a lot of the time we haven't even got time to do the do. You know what I mean? So if there's ways that you can speed that up for us, or time saving tools, or literally kind of 10 minutes with you saves in weeks of my time. It's like that, and the same goes for me as well. Why put yourself in a position where you're holding back making revenue from your knowledge because you're on this big elongated development journey? People kind of speak to me and say, "Oh, I'm going to go and learn some stuff and I'll do this myself." And when you catch up with them months down the line, have you made any progress? And it's like, "No, I just got too much." It's like, my God.
it's always that circle, you know, like if you want to do everything yourself, just expect it to take 3 to 4 times more time that you would like it to take, and then expect half of the things that you plan to do to just slip away because you just don't have the capacity to do that. And this is not just the time capacity, it's also mental capacity as well. But then once I know it for myself, like if I choose to work with an expert and I've invested probably 5 figures into myself, into my business and development and all of that last year, it was massive help. I
Yeah.
can't compare that. And same, I don't do stuff on my own anymore. I have a team that helps me with so many things, and they are experts in their own ways, right? That just allows me so much headspace, so much time as well. And I get to spend more time on the beach in the afternoon.
Oh, nice. Very good. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully we get the weather enough to be on the beach at some point, and
Fingers crossed.
absolutely, yeah. And so content isn't just it alone, is it? You know what I mean? But content's a big piece of it. But you can't expect to put a piece of content out there and it just be a raving success and then leads fall into your calendar, really, can you? There's
Exactly.
much more.
Yeah, so if I was to break it down for people who are watching us live right now or watching us on the recording, there are certain things, of course, that you can do, right? It's not hidden secret and or best kept secret, right? So the first thing, of course, is the content that you create. So whether that is a post, video, photo with your product, whatever, right? So the content itself is the first one, right? And the second one is that you want to make sure that you engage your audience, right? So you want to make sure you're having the conversation with your audience. And that is completely up to you how you choose to do that. If you want to go through in the comments, you can do that. If you want to go through Instagram stories, for example, if that's the platform you are using, or Facebook stories as well. If you want to engage people in the comments, I know YouTube has this post and you want to go and use that. If you want to, whatever that looks like, really, right? So engagement, if you want to give people freebies, all of that. And that brings me to the next point, which is the nurture. And the nurture part, you want to make sure that they get to know your product, get to know you. They have things that they can learn from you. So just as me and AD, we shared a link to our freebies and all the goodies right at the beginning. So that's the nurture part. We want you to understand what we can offer you, right? And then the last point, that is probably the one that people underestimate the most or underuse the most, and that is talking to people. So get into the DMs. Do not be scared about the DMs or emails, whatever ways of contact you have. If phone numbers is what you have, that's what you can use, right? So just get into conversations with people, right? And if they are your target audience, ask them where they are at, get to know their pain points, and of course, see if you can provide any value for them, whether that's free or there's just my freebie that you can use, or this is actually worth for us to have a conversation. Let's hop on a call, right? So I would sum it up like that. So there are ways you can do and that you can be proactive
Yeah.
without being too aggressive, of course.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Pain points are incredibly important, actually. I'm pleased you mentioned that because the problems of your target audience that's your duty, isn't it? Your duty is to solve those and to ease those. You are the pharmacy equivalent of business. You're there to ease pain and reduce swelling or whatever it may be. So having a handle on those pain points is crucial from a marketing perspective. It's crucial to get engagement, drive leads, and that sort of stuff. But then when you carry that through into the delivery of an online course or a community or whatever, it's massively important that you've got a good handle on that. Because if you haven't, there's a risk that you can spend a lot of time creating stuff that doesn't resonate with your audience and therefore doesn't sell.
Yeah. And that's what you said. There's like a direct link in marketing. You want to talk their language, so you want to understand what they're struggling with and address that in your marketing.
Yeah.
to get them into your circle. Once they're in your circle, that's where your expertise comes in. This is what I'm delivering. Why would I create a course about growing LinkedIn followers, for example, if that's not going to bring them the results that they want, which probably is clients, right? So that's perfect what you said there. Pain points are not just for the front end, they are literally gold for you.
Yeah, definitely. And I learned that the hard way, really. I made an online course. It was quite a lot of work to do it, actually. It was in the middle of summer. And in this room here, I have a lot of light around me, a lot of kind of bright light. The blinds, curtains, and the windows have to stay shut because of the light and the noise. I was unwell at the time. It was a really hot month, and I was under these bright lights, sweating and just feeling poorly. It was a labor of love to make that course, and I think I was so desperate to sell it. When it was done, I just went on social media and it's blah, 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 sell, 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 sell. And I didn't shift any of it at all. And a good mentor of mine said to me, "You're just too desperate. You look really desperate. You know, people are not going to buy from you in that way. Go and find some people to help. You know, don't worry about money. Do that for free. And then they're going to want to have more time with you and maybe even pay for your course to get that." And the minute I started doing that, and it was a big pill to swallow, really, because it's like, oh, you want me to work for free? Oh my gosh, I've got bills to pay and a wife that wants to go to Egypt again. And but it actually works when you go out and you help people, and within your social media content, you offer value to them that's going to help them with those little problems. It does actually work in terms of the numbers, right?
Absolutely. So to build on that, I would say there is one thing that people don't realize, okay? They think that if it's writing the content, or like if it's maybe just posting a photo, unless it's like a video when people can really feel it, they think that, oh, I can be in whatever mood, thinking whatever the hell I want, like nobody really sees me, I'm just gonna write and type this content, right? And that is a huge mistake, because that's why, for example, being a copywriter or a ghostwriter is such a unique job, I guess, because you are capturing the energy of the person. You are really putting the personality in the words. So what people don't realize is, oh, I'm just going to type this up. Whatever you are typing, whatever mood you are in, you are bringing it into your words. And there is a big shift. So the energy you're bringing in, the receiver, in your case, is the reader, the potential client, prospect. They see that and they feel it. So that's why you mentioned, for example, if you're in desperation mode, I will feel that you're desperate for the sales as a receiver, because that's the way you put it out there. If you are in a super excitement, if you may have seen some people who are just vibrant on social media, you're just like, I don't even need your product, but I'm like, I'm about to give you my money just because I'm so attracted to your energy, right? And that's the huge shift, because they bring it into their writing, they bring it into their social media presence. And that's what attracts people as well. You don't want to buy into the negative emotion, the desperation, the feel of need, and so on. You want to buy into the excitement, the fun, the opportunities that's going to bring you. And that's a very important part as well. So whenever, especially this is absolutely crucial in launches as well. So if someone does launches and it's one big launch every couple of weeks, couple of months, you need to bring an insane amount of energy into that in order for it to get you the best results possible. So the energy is a huge part. So please, if you're typing your content, bring the fun, bring the excitement. If you need to do a quick dance before you sit down to write at the computer, and then start writing, because people will feel it. I promise you, they will feel it.
Yeah, well, that's something I've started doing actually, is having that Friday vibe. And these days, and I'm not quite there yet. There's a few calls that keep slipping through to me calendar on a Friday. I want to close those off and have a quieter day. But it's radio on, some decent tunes. It's Friday, nowadays the sun's out, the weekend's coming, I've had a great week, I've achieved a lot, and it's just a perfect vibe to think about next week's content.
Yep.
It's just a perfect time. And just talking about that confidence thing, for a lot of people getting started, I hear them say that they've got nothing interesting to say. And if you're kind of feeling in that mood, that's going to impact on your energy. So what do you say to those people that just feel like they've got nothing of value to add?
I love those. I love those. Just had a call a few weeks back with someone who was like, I have nothing really to say. I don't know how to provide value. And we were on an hour call where we just didn't stop talking, first of all. So I have nothing to say, but we keep talking for an hour. And then the second thing was I have no value. And in my notes, I probably had a book recommendation, an interesting fact that the person said, and something else I can't remember. So I already had noted down 3 things just from the conversation, like just in between the lines. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I kept writing down. So it's a myth. Everyone has something to say. You do not need a flashy career background. I started my personal brand and I never actually worked in corporate space. You don't need horrific life story in order to feel like you have a transformational story you can write. And you don't need any of the things that you think that you need, really.
No big following?
No, neither that. Absolutely not. Look at your life. Look at the past 5 years, for example. Try to remember how your day looked 5 years ago. Are you better now? Have you achieved any of your goals? How much further are you? Have you followed the life path that you thought you will, right? All of that is gold.
Absolutely.
And that's a personal side of the stories, right? Now, if you want to talk about the educational side of the story and nurturing, and you're like, oh, this is just so basic. Trust me when I say this, that what you consider the absolute foundation basic stuff, for someone else, they have never heard that before.
Yeah.
So you do have stuff to deliver. Regardless of where you are in your journey at the moment, you have stuff to say. You just get it out of your brain and get over. It's more you have to overcome the limiting belief rather than find out what to say.
Yeah. And that sometimes that takes help, like erasing or eradicating that limiting belief. I can remember where I was. You and I started working together. Some of those things that you've just said, I've got nothing interesting to say, nothing of value. You must hear that a lot, and I know that you heard that from me. And when you're in that mind space, it's really difficult to get out of it. And we did exactly the same, didn't we? It was an hour and a half, 2 hours, and that is like. In fact, the transcript to that conversation is something I keep going back to. And the ideas of stuff that I can talk about that just came out of that mindset unlocking session was incredible.
Or a trick on that is also if you have a friend or maybe accountability partner, you're in a community with someone and someone you just get on very well, try to have a conversation with them. I would highly recommend get in a Zoom call, Google Meet, whatever you use, bring in a transcription tool and ask yourself questions, and then go into that transcript and be like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, and that question was great. What did I say to that one? And just use that.
Absolutely, yeah. We could talk all day, couldn't we? I guess we should leave people with a sense of kind of, some things that they could take away, maybe put into practice. And definitely one of the things they can do is talk to you about this sort of stuff. And there's all your details on the screen. There's a good question here from Claire. Actually, Claire's on Facebook. I'm just going to bring that in. Top social tool other than LinkedIn to build business. Is TikTok a good tool to use? Have you got a view? I've got a couple.
Yeah, I think TikTok can be great. But again, we're coming back what we said earlier in the session, and that is, does your target audience hang out on TikTok? Do they spend time there? Of course, there is others. There is you can think of all the social medias out there, and they can all bring you business. It's about where your target audience spends their time and what they enjoy to see or to watch, right?
Yeah, this is
What,
it.
what was your take on that, AD? I would love to hear that.
I was probably going to tread on similar ground actually, and
Okay.
say that it really kind of is guided by your target audience. You know, in some places I've seen people have great results with TikTok. You know, in others I've seen people with insane followings, and it just doesn't kind of convert into revenue really. So I think you have to kind of gauge that really.
Speaking about this, absolutely. I know newsletters have great potential. So if you can bring your audience from online into your newsletter, that's brilliant. Actually, I'm loving your new newsletter at the moment, AD. Like, I'm having so much fun reading that. And that brings me to the next thing. We're just having a chat about it this week, and that's just how you can bring people from online world into an offline world, somewhere off the platform. Meaning, for example, you have your app, you have your community where you have people where you nurture them. That's all brilliant. So
Absolutely.
things like that. Just get very creative about it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I'm just going to finish with one last question, if I'm all right. But if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to message me. I'm sure you'll take a message too, Vicky, or leave us a comment, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. If you're watching this inside my app and inside the community, then us guys are going to be diving into these topics in a lot more detail as we move our online products forward and stuff. But yeah, just kind of final tips, I guess, Vicky, in terms of, you know, what can people get their teeth stuck into today, other than getting in touch with you and get my free trading and all of that, which goes without saying. But any kind of thoughts of actions people could take?
Absolutely. So first thing, obviously we can go back to all the session. There were so many actionable things we were just sharing. If you want to go a little bit broader, make sure that you look over your social media and you look at the content you're putting out there, the nurture sequence that you have, the way you educate people, the way you engage with them, and the conversation. But if you want to just take one and only piece of advice, then add at least 30 minutes. Do it right now and add at least 30 minutes into your calendar when you're going to talk to your audience, your target audience, your ideal client, dream client. At least 30 minutes this week. And just go into the DMs and start a conversation. Just if one and only thing you were to do today, use your social media in order to talk to people.
Yeah. And consistency is king with this stuff as well. You know, it's I often liken it to going to the gym. You have to show up on the bad days as well, and don't worry too much about the results. If you have that day when nobody replies to you, then that's not necessarily you or your fault or anything like that. It's just sometimes the nature of the beast. And but go after the wins rather than the losses, I think is what I'm saying. Go
Yeah.
kiss a lot of frogs.
You definitely will. You definitely win. And if I can bring a quick one on quick thought onto that, what I like to do sometimes, I don't do it every day, but sometimes I go into my LinkedIn or into any platform really I choose, and I can do that even in a networking event. So go for 10 no's. So try and speak to 10 people and try to get 10 no's. It probably never happened to me that I got 10 no's. I never got to 10. I got to maybe 5, 6, and then it's a yes. And I'm like, okay, restart the clock. We start again. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a fun way. I like to gamify it.
I like that. I've never done that, but I will be doing that probably today in between sessions. But listen, thank you so much for your time today. This has been incredibly valuable for me, and I hope it's been valuable to everybody else as well. But yeah, again, I've picked up loads from you. Thank you so much. Any closing thoughts, comments, views, complaints?
Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun, and I'm super excited to see everyone post session, see all the messages, and yeah, any questions, I'm more than happy to answer any. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day. I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.